I think we're going to bask in the glow of that one, at least for today. We'll get into the Rams as we move forward, the rematch of the 1985.
Good morning, Mully. Yes, we will have plenty of time
for
Bears and Rams to look forward, but we need to look back because Saturday was unforgettable. Saturday night was one of those nights you will remember where you were when something happened. Pick one, anything. You can pick the Bears and Packers. You can pick the Cubs. We'll get into all of that, but most significantly in this football city, the Bears beat the Packers in the playoffs.
In the playoffs.
And that's the first time since Pearl Harbor that's happened. And
they beat him twice, Ben Johnson. You beat the Flower twice in 1 year. He loves
did.
that.
Just
he loves doing that.
Just like he predicted almost a year ago.
Wow.
What are we going to do for the Ben Johnson anniversary?
I don't know.
That day should be a holiday in Chicago because the day they hired Ben Johnson, all that happened Saturday became possible. And all that's about to happen next became possible because the Bears are full of possibility. Now that they have beaten the Packers to advance another home game, they're alive in the playoffs, and the Super Bowl Bears is not a ridiculous concept right now as we sit here.
Wow.
What a weekend.
Provided they only play fourth quarters.
Well, they should really try to manipulate the scoreboard at Soldier Field.
Oh, my goodness.
And try to make Caleb Williams realize that that's, not the first quarter, it's the fourth, so maybe he can bring out his best earlier. Ben Johnson, too.
That is extraordinary. That
it
game,
was.
I mean, you were obviously there. You can talk about the atmosphere. That was incredible. The game was on Amazon Prime. I heard, I'm not making this up, I heard from people all over the world. Mm-hmm. All over the world. I got a text.
Well, you have family all over the world.
I have a lot of family.
Suddenly,
thank you.
My the Mulligans are spread across the globe.
My immediate family's all over the world.
Spanning the globe.
But I heard from a buddy of mine who lives in Mauritius, which is an island off the coast of Africa, and he watched it on Prime. It's on. Everybody is watching these games because if you have that already, you get it for free, and if you have contacts in Chicago, or if you've ever been here or ever been to a Bear game, whatever, you are watching this with interest, and you have more interest now than you did when you tuned in.
It's a global event. It really is, and the reach because of Prime they're able to get to people that you wouldn't imagine getting to on Saturday night.
Yes,
locally. Yes, this is a very much a local story. Everybody in town loves the Bears, and Bears in the playoffs is a different kind of intensity and devotion. But this has now become a league-wide story. It's like, hey, Caleb Williams, you don't want to play him. You don't want to play them.
He is the superstar of the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
I had a friend of mine text me and said, if your life depended on it, who would you take as your fourth quarter quarterback? And I started laughing. I was like, well, I mean, can I get Joe Montana back in the day? No, it's current. And I thought, okay,
it's greatness.
Now, it
really is. It's in the clutch, and it was the seventh game this season the Bears have won while trailing in the final 2 minutes.
Unbelievable.
And you just can't believe some of these numbers. And I have to go back and check this, but I think against the Packers, now that they beat 2 or 3 times this year, and Caleb Williams now 3-2 against the Packers in his career, I don't believe the offense ever took a snap when they led the game.
Yeah, they took the lead. You're right. They took the lead late in the game.
So I don't know that they ever had the lead when they snapped the ball to Caleb Williams, and yet they won 2 of the 3 games.
And I think if you look at Jordan Love, right, we have watched the Green Bay Packers roll out Hall of Fame quarterback after Hall of Fame quarterback. I don't think Jordan Love's a Hall of Famer, certainly not yet. I also think Caleb has the clutch gene, and I'm not sure that Jordan Love has that. And that's not being mean to him. He's like...
That's based on what we have seen.
Based on what he's done in the playoffs.
It's understandable to come away with that take because he was, Jordan Love, really effective, better than I thought he would be early on, the first 3 quarters. And he was a player that didn't look rusty.
No.
It didn't look like he had missed 2.5 games. And he looked like he was the guy that was going to rise to the occasion. And then the fourth quarter happened. And then Caleb Williams 25 points in the fourth quarter, Mully.
Unbelievable.
They had only scored, I believe, 22 in the previous 7. Then they scored 25. Nothing that had happened up to that point prepared you to expect that. Because who would have thought, well, okay, they got them right where they want them. They're going to score 25 points in the fourth quarter and come back from a 21-6 deficit and then be celebrating like kids at a party afterward. And that was quite a party.
I hate to do this to you, Dustin, but I got to ask you because you were so adamant about it last week. Do you believe he's built for those moments?
I do now.
Okay.
After that, I mean, absolutely. I mean, obviously, we're going to talk about it all morning long, and
Sure.
I'm happy to answer the question right now because it was asked. That 4th and 8, what he did, there's an unbelievable Baldy breakdown.
Yes.
I know Brian Baldy will be on this week coming up
Excellent.
with you guys. And, I mean, I don't know if many other or any guys in this league right now
To his left, pulling his feet out.
could do that.
That perfect strike to Roma Dunze.
Right, and Herb Street kind of nailed it, and I know I give him some crud as well. But like in that moment, 1 of 1.
He was very good, Kirk Herbstreit.
He was him,
and Caleb Williams was outstanding.
and Al was good too. I thought overall
That was a big game feel. I thought the broadcast
big game.
had that kind of gravitas, if you will.
I didn't like Kirk at one point questioning his footwork because I was kind of like, you might have had perfect footwork at Ohio State, but you never did that in the NFL.
And let's face it, Caleb Williams, fundamentals aside, technical approach aside, really, when it comes right down to it, when he jumps and throws and completes 4th and 8 to Roma Dunze, he can point his feet wherever he wishes.
Perfect throw.
Perfect throw.
Perfect.
And what did we say?
He floated it, kind of. He didn't throw it through him.
and the escapability.
Yes.
Right.
That's always been the trait.
Right?
It's instinctive.
Yes.
Molly, last week we talked all week about, Roma Dunze, what's he going to play? How often? And we kept on saying the same thing.
One play.
It only
That's
takes
it.
one play.
That's it.
It only takes one play
That was all
to
you needed.
justify all of the way they handled him
Yep.
and gradually bringing him back, although he did start and it did surprise me. Jade Walker sat down. Roma Dunze was in there on the first snap.
I thought of you when Jade. I thought you may have been angry about that.
I wasn't happy.
Yeah.
I wasn't that. Here's what I felt like.
see.
I said this. I was sitting next to Ruthie Polinsky, and I said, part of me feels really bad for Jade Walker. Made a couple really clutch plays to get them to this point. And then the other part of me understands you've got a top 10 draft pick.
You got it.
And if he's healthy,
Yes.
he plays. And you figure it out later. And Jade Walker will have a career, and he did his job up to this point. Now his job was to watch and wait.
And Rome played for the record, and I even after watching the game multiple times,
Sure.
he played 69% of the snaps.
That's
Played
unbelievable.
I was surprised at how often he played.
54 snaps.
Yeah.
And I thought, didn't we have mid-20s maybe, right,
Yep.
on the snap? And I was surprised because he only ends up with 2 catches. But, of course, as we're talking about, one couldn't be bigger.
It was unbelievable.
It was unbelievable on both sides of the ball. There were moments where you were like, oh, my gosh, this is awful. Then, oh, my gosh, this is great.
I got to say, Colston Loveland was a beast. He was. Everybody knew where they were going with the ball, and he caught it anyway. And that 2-point conversion,
That was textbook.
He was unbelievable.
You don't ever worry about him not making the play.
You don't.
He is dependable, and he's very, I don't want to say, he makes it look routine.
Everything.
And he is a guy that is always getting open, and whether or not,
so happy they took him and not Warren.
It's easy to say that now, isn't it?
joke.
Yeah. But Ben Johnson did go into postgame a really brief but important explanation about, because he was asked 2 questions about Loveland and how in the offseason they drafted him injured.
Oh, I know.
And he alluded to that and acknowledged it. And so that reminded you just how far he had come. So all of the early expectations were appropriate, but he was not really 100%. And now we're seeing over the last second half of the season,
incredible,
and in the playoffs especially, boy, that was so clutch.
Yeah, and you trust him. You know you can go with him, and he will make plays at every turn. He's so clutch.
And Mully, it's all these weapons that are coming through by design.
Yes.
We talk about Loveland. You mentioned Nadunze with the clutch catch. You look at Luther Burden playing his role really well as the explosive yard after catch guy, and then against the Packers, the great shredder, if you will, DJ Moore. Again.
Moore. It's great.
With one of the best play designs you're ever going to see, DJ Moore is the shredder because he beat the Packers twice now.
I loved that they kept cutting to the guy with actual cheese and a grater on the broadcast, and he was grating away. And I did, it occurred to me a couple different times, like, how do you get that past security?
Exactly
like,
what my wife
doing?
said to me. She's like, after all that hubbub about from like the really cold game, you're not allowed to bring cardboard in. She's like, not only does he have a grater, he's got a block of cheese.
It's so funny.
I don't know how they got all that stuff in.
I don't know how they got it in.
It was hilarious, though.
It was so funny. And then they had Caleb on the post game. They wrote, and they gave him the hats. And I am sure
they had the props.
If you are from Green Bay, if you are with that team, listening to all of the foul language, frankly, regarding the Packers, and including the coach saying what DJ Moore had said.
Definitely.
Ben
Johnson had his moment, and it went viral. And that is who he is, and that is to the victor go the spoils, and all that comes with that. So this is part of today's.
If there wasn't a
NFL,
rivalry before that game,
it's great now.
Holy cow!
What a great night indeed.
They had Caleb grating cheese on the set, which was hysterical.
It was so funny. He just
Congratulations to all you guys. The largest comeback in postseason history for the Bears.
Hold on, what do we got here? What is that?
I don't know what that is.
Uh-oh.
Hold on.
I think we know what that is.
Thank you, Fitz. There we go. Cheese grater.
This is what rivalries are made of.
That's it. Cheese.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
I like y'all.
Congratulations, you guys. Go enjoy this one. Thank you so much. Appreciate you guys stopping by.
That was hysterical.
That's acceptable.
Yeah, it was fine.
That's in the moment.
They were also given props and reacting.
Yeah,
but it was
they were playing
funny.
up to it. The post game handshake was really chilly.
Oh my gosh!
It was right after Ben Johnson regained his footing after being knocked to the ground by Roma Dunze.
Wiped him out.
Maybe that rattled him a little bit, but he was having none of the Matt LaFleur pleasantry. It was as quick of a grip and grin as you will see.
Boy, it was like a drive-by shake, if there is such a thing. It seemed to change the trajectory of the way the Flower was walking.
It did.
He was walking, I'm over here now.
It kind of redirected his path, and metaphorically, it might have redirected his path.
We'll wait and see what
We'll
goes
wait and
on
see
there.
career-wise what happens with Matt LaFleur next.
Matt LaFleur had a really good first half and a classically awful second half. He's no good in the third and fourth quarter, and frankly, his messing up of timeouts in that game was fireable.
It could be one of those things that they use as evidence or impetus to make a change, depending on who's available. Likewise, Mully, or in contrast, Ben Johnson, to me, did not have a great first half.
Oh, no.
But then he rallied well, and they handled the clock down the stretch. They iced the kicker at the right time. We'll get into that later, how important that was. And also what he said at halftime and how he treated that moment will, I think, live in Chicago sports history, because that will become an epic experience that we refer to about what can happen in the second half of games that the Bears are trailing at halftime.
Yeah. Yeah, I got to tell you, there's a lot to get into with that game. It was so much fun.
A lot to get into.
The town, this city, was out of control. It was shot out of a cannon. I think the atmosphere at Soldier Field was unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
First, the disappointment. My personal disappointment as I watched the game was I felt, how do you take the crowd out of the game? That's what the Bears achieved in the first half of that game.
They did that. You
took the crowd. You took one of your greatest advantages out of the game. but then when it turned around, holy guacamole!
Well, there were two halves and there were two crowds.
Yeah.
And in the first half, as I wrote this and I just kind of chuckled because they had turned Chicago. They turned Soldier Field into Chicago's biggest library because it was like and the scoreboard was like the offense had the ball. It's like shh, and we get that. But you know what? The Packers had the ball. It just felt like it was still.
You didn't have to shush anyone.
It was officially deflated. Everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening." And then the second half happened, and that was so.
It was unbelievable,
crazy to be in that environment post game.
But like the atmosphere in the city itself. Like there were other parts of the city. There were people in bars. There were sections of Chicago that went crazy. I mean, it was pretty amazing. I was at the airport last night, and there were a lot of people wearing Bears gear.
Yes,
which is not all that unusual.
Now they're loud and proud.
But now you're traveling with it.
Now you're 2 victories away from the Super Bowl.
It's crazy.
You're staring at a Super Bowl rematch between the Bears and the Patriots.
Super Bowl 20. The only two teams, by the way, that won at home in Wild Card Weekend.
I know.
How about
that? I'm aware. Yeah, everybody's looking at that.
It's incredible.
Rams are next. 40 years ago today, what happened, Mully? I know you remember it because Wilbur Marshall made he indelibly etched a memory into your head.
That's right. That's right.
The Bears beat the Rams to advance to the Super Bowl.
I was at that game. Can
you were there?
That? Yeah, it's hard to believe. Incredible. Dan Hampton. They knew they were going to the Super Bowl, and everybody knew. It was unbelievable.
But pregame on Saturday night, I was on the field. I got on the field for a little bit and was walking around, and I happened to be on the field. You would have. I'm glad there actually was no photographic evidence of this. It started to rain snow.
It's incredible.
It started to come down like in buckets of snow.
It looked like a snow globe. It was like someone started
I looked like Frosty. I was covered in snow.
Wow, that's amazing.
And it was just like, but you look around and it was like you were in your inner snow globe and all these people coming in, the anticipation, it really is one of those moments. Really, it was palpable, the intensity and how people were just waiting for this moment. And then the first half happened.
Oh, boy.
And the air was out of the balloon. And that fourth quarter was something else. And I want to say that I expected everything to happen. I want to say that we broke it down, and this is just like we thought it would go. But how would you ever have predicted that?
Yeah. I mean, I think the answer is that you watched the whole year, and you knew that was their time and that they would come back because that's what they did. But it really felt like things had gotten out of control.
I didn't think the defense was going to get off the field.
The defense,
like ever.
The defense couldn't get off the field. You had the most amazing 4th and 4 decision at their own 32. Clearly, the coach didn't feel like they could stop the Green Bay Packers, so he wanted to keep the ball. And you're sitting there looking at that. It just had to.
Yeah. Tell me you don't trust your defense without telling me you don't trust your defense.
I mean, yeah.
That was
but then
so
they came out,
bizarre.
I actually had a friend who wondered at halftime if Dennis Allen should be fired. Should they move on from – and I think, just the logical conclusion is no. The takeaway saved him this year, and it's not his fault. They need to do this and this. And you're starting to plot – how they're going to fix the defense in the offseason. That's how ridiculous it was.
But that's how extreme the reaction was.
Then they came out and they 3 and out. I mean, how did that happen? How did that happen?
You can look at schematic ways that they adjusted. You can look at certain calls and certain situations. But I just think sometimes, Mully, it comes down to this a defense, individuals on that unit just decided they were not going to be the reason the Bears lost. And they tried to rally together, and then they come out in the second half, and they had, 3 consecutive 3 and outs?
It was unbelievable.
It was really a different defense. And
it was unbelievable.
Dennis Allen, maybe that defense is the reason you're going to doubt the Bears, but I think his presence has been invaluable for Ben Johnson.
Oh, I agree. I don't think he's going anywhere. But I mean, I'm merely saying that because someone actually asked, and I actually.
Well, social media was full of suggestions.
Well, of course. Oh boy, the 4th and 4 thing on social media.
Well,
that was disembowelment. I don't know what you call it.
Well, I think it was one of those moments where Ben Johnson hasn't had many this year, but he gave people reason to wonder. And as I think I mentioned to you at the time, he tapped into his inner Dan Campbell.
That was the funniest line of the night. That was my favorite line of the night. He's tapped into his inner Dan Campbell.
But what else was it?
Wow, and then Dan Campbell has run that team out of the playoffs, whether anyone wants to accept it or not, with some of those decisions. Listen, it was absolutely extraordinary. It was an amazing outcome. And good God, we had a lot of fun.
Yes, you cannot overstate the significance of what happened Saturday night, but we will try.
Oh, yeah. No.
We will try.
We definitely will.
It's going to be a fun week. It's going to be a great day. It is one of those days, Mully, where from my perspective, I know you kind of share it, and Dustin and Brandon, we are lucky to do what we do today.
Yeah, I agree.
And this week because of what it feels like and all the things that happened over the weekend, and
so good for the city.
It really is.
I mean, what a you know, the Bears. We know that everybody was counting on that. They come back and they win that game. The Bulls won. It was so great to see the cheese grater on the head of Io DeSumo going into the stadium, and he at one of the hype videos I saw. Him and Matas, they're Chicago guys.
They were
cheering
the cheese graters
Chicago.
on.
So much fun.
And Io, after the victory, predicted the Bears would come back. At the time, they were down 21-6, and he told Stacy and Adam, I believe, just wait for the Bears to come back.
That was awesome.
It was cool.
And then, the Blackhawks won. I saw Bedard giving a shout out to the Bears.
Bedard gets 2 assists, and they have a rookie goalie who is there because of the flu, gets a shutout, Drew Comesso. That was a big moment.
Alex Bregman.
Oh, goodness.
He gave a shout-out to the Bears, too, in his heart by signing with the Cubs.
And you know who was on the sideline celebrating both things?
Yes,
everything Chicago sports?
His teammate.
PCA.
That's right.
MVP.
Yeah.
All right, I'm
of course, Spike Lee was there, too.
He was there. Saw him.
So maybe he's got MVP.
What was he doing there anyway? What's the Chicago connection?
I don't know. He's cheering for the Bears.
I saw him hanging out with Father Flager on the sideline.
Was he really?
Yeah, he was.
Wow,
so maybe that was
him.
it. Not sure.
Father Flager was on the sideline?
Yes.
Wow. He was on my
Before
paper.
the game.
He was on my paper out when I was a kid. His parents were. I knew his parents.